Hi, I'm Lisa Smith. I'm so excited because on this past Sunday, we celebrated 23 years of marriage. We are a blended family. Yay! I know, I don't even look like I'm 25. But we are a blended family. My husband was married once before, and he would have full custody of the kids, so I went into what they call a ready-made family. And I'm so grateful for that because it blessed me, because I didn't think I'd ever get married, and neither did my mom, because I was having a great life being single. And because I was an HR executive. So for those of you that don't know, I was an HR executive for many years. I worked for AutoZone. I also worked for Intercontinental Hotels Group, and you may have heard of Boeing. So I ran those companies running anywhere from a $200 million budget to a $700 million budget. It was quite fun. And particularly dealing with employee relations issues. So on the side, if you ever need any help, give me a call. My husband takes advantage of me all the time and stops. So you're welcome to do the same. I have 3 bonus children and 2 grandchildren. We're all M's in that family. So my husband's Morris, my son is Morris the third, my daughter's Melissa, there's Maya, and the grandbabies are Miori and Magoogie. So let's get this party started. Restoration done right the first time. So here we go. That's my wonderful husband and I there. If you don't know yet, I'm a die-hard Seminole, die-hard Florida State Seminole. We're doing extremely well. We're number 7, where we were unranked in Alabama Robbins, and that's why we need them this year. That part. The other good thing about it is you guys, I need you to cheer for those guys right there on the end here. I don't know if there's a pointer here, and I apologize if there is. There's a ripple. Big circle, red dot. Okay. Right there, those guys are pretty important guys. That is Devontae Brown and that is Damari Brown. If you notice, one has on a UM shirt, the other one has on an FSU shirt. They're my bonus nephews. They both played. They're both cornerbacks. And their dad is actually Selwyn Brown, who played for the Miami Dolphins. So I have fun hanging out with them. So please cheer for them. One graduated and the other is the second nickel cornerback right now for UM. So please just keep them in your prayers as they stay grounded. That's what we ask for. Next up are my beautiful daughters, and I finished my bonus children. This is my daughter Melissa. She works for Sewell Cadillac. This is my daughter Maya. She works for the concierge garbage service. And this is my son. If anybody ever wants to hear a testimony about a son that could turn his life around, he said he wanted to own his own island when we got married, and he did just that. Minus the $19,000 that we pay the lawyer fees. Like I said, there was a testimony to that. And so here's my husband again, and we're at a Rangers game. So my son started off, if you see that says Morris Fist Ford. No, he's not just standing in front of it because he's a salesperson. He actually owns 2 Ford dealerships in Kansas City. So when I tell you he's under 40, he's 39 years old. And we're so grateful. He even got his little pilot's license and has a Piper that he flies over to see us and parks at Spinks Airport. So it's awesome to do that. Like I said, God is amazing. If you ever need somebody to talk to about a story of a child, come see me. We can tell you all about it. Here we are, it's my grandbabies. That's Bjorn. They're actually inside one of the dealerships there. That was the wedding we went to. This is my mother-in-law who lives with me. She's awesome. She is our resident chef and also our resident grocery shopper. This is my father-in-law. And my father-in-law, I put him on here, and my mother-in-law, because both of those people are 81 years old and don't look that they oversee Steve Wall. This gentleman right here, I don't know if you see that, he's a full bird colonel. He is my cousin. I'm so very proud of him because they told him that he was a SPED student. Anybody know anything about SPED? He's now a full bird colonel and just retired. So if that tells you anything about it, never believe what people tell you. All right, let's talk about what we really do and what's really important. That was family. I love them all. So we are Stop Restoration. We do fire, water, mold. You know that? In addition to that, some of the surprising services that people recognize that we do are duct cleaning. So you'll see some pictures of that. Cleaning services, hoarding, odor, smoke, sanitizing, hazmat. And when I say that, unattended deaths, hoarding, crime scene cleanup, those things as well. So what happens with water mitigation? One of the things we actually do is we go in and we look at it, we identify where it's wet. People a lot of times say, oh, I put a fan on it. It's like, oh, no, it's not dry. So we have what's called thermal imaging. We can tell you what's happening behind your walls. We can tell you what's happening underneath cabinets. And here's a fun picture of it. Water can be categorized from 1 to 3, and that's a whole different conversation with the insurance company. Next is a picture. So this is water. This was during Snowdemic. I figured this would be the best way to show you. You see that shiny stuff is water. All the way through there is water. This house was completely wet. These are the amount of fans and dehumidifiers and air scrubbers. Those are lingo for how we dry out houses. So that's that. Here's another one where the water was coming completely into this person's garage. You can see there the shiny stuff water was all the way throughout that home, an inch deep. Mold. Mold is really important. I tell people all the time, or share, excuse me, not tell is not a word for use. I share with people all the time how mold, you only see the tip. So for example, in here, I'm a little concerned. I did this when I used to do it. I went over and talked to them because that is presence. That's leak. That is the presence of mold. And that's you can see it. When you can see it to the common eye, you can only imagine what's behind there. So heightened sensitivity. If you have nose itches problems, you might want to just make sure you keep taking your vitamin C and things like that. Or better yet, see Miss Ashley. People that are heightened sensitivity to it are young people, people that may have a condition. I should change that word. People of retirement age like myself or greater. Mold remediation, here's some stuff you see. This is what we call containment as we start to take it out. There are certain things our team wears. There's PPE and different things like that. Here's visible mold that you don't necessarily see that's hiding sometimes. So when we build the containment, we build it out. Mold can't be cleaned. It has to be removed. And there's a flyer on it where it talks about, I put it on your table there. So you guys would have it as a reference, because a lot of times people think kills or bleach kills mold. It does not. Mold has to be removed. It has to be removed. So if you ever deal with a construction company or someone that's not us, licensed mold remediation contractors, please make sure they don't just spray kills on your kitchen. Fire remediation. This is a process that you dealt with, and more recently dealt with about 3 in the last month or so. This is actually a home that was in Burleson, and we loved this family. They were so kind. He said, I'm so glad it was in my detached Fortune Cachere garage and not a garage that was attached to my home. Yes, of course. He had a 7-car garage. That was the 2-car garage that was detached, and it was on fire, and the whole system. And they were just like, do you want to keep all this stuff? I'm like, no, we can't do this against the law. But I just wanted to show you the before and then the after of how we had to deal with that. One of my favorites is duct cleaning, because you don't think about it, it really comes second nature sometimes when your nose might be bothering you and maybe that you need duct cleaning. We do it for commercial and residential. I want to go right here because this is when we did Joseph Belt helicopter. We were on scissor lifts and boom lifts where we went and we did the commercial duct cleaning for this. Biohazard cleaning, one of the most important things that we deal with is families that may be going through something. Whether it's been a murder in the home, unfortunately, or hazmat, or different things like that, or someone that may have been there for a while and then becoming a cleanup behind it. Most important thing that we can ever do as a team is to wear the appropriate PPEs, and then dealing with ventilation. There's a whole process to that as well. Show you pictures of here, because here's one of those that happened. Unfortunately, the lady passed away. She used to sit right there by the door every day. She was unattended for about 4 days. She ate Jimmy John's, and I think it was Popeyes were her favorite, and she would just stack it up right there. If you don't know anything about some of the times when people have 40 issues, there's usually a mental condition behind it. They usually suffer with something or depressed. And so that's what she did every day. Any questions? Yes, sir, Mike.
If you eliminate the water source, will mold just eventually die?
It depends on what we get in. Typically, I always tell folks in the first 24 to 72 hours is the most important time to deal with water damage. Anytime even after 48 hours, you can get mold. So the longer you wait, the worse it gets. Mold does not get better with time. We had a case that we did in October, I think of 2021, that we quoted up $36,000 in October. That job, they did not call us back until February of the next year. That job became $220,000. It was 14 units of an apartment building. I saw you.
What is the difference between mold and probably
Same thing.
Same thing?
Mm-hmm.
What is the difference between mold and real?
Same thing. It's a fancy way to dress up mold. And just to tell you, there are over 2,000 types of mold. Now, people always talk about black mold, but black mold is not the only mold. Mold can be green, yellow, gray, white. So the true black mold that you hear people talk about is Stachybotrys, which can be definitely to anyone. You guys may have heard about Liberty Mutual when they were sued. That was why they were sued, because they didn't believe to this day they're paying for the child of the Ballot family medical care and will face the rest of their life.
Do you do mold testing?
No, we do not. In the state of Texas, we cannot do mold testing. There's a mold consultant that does mold testing. We're the mold remediation company that actually fixes it, and that's who we are. By law, if you have someone that does the testing and fixes it, you probably don't want to use it. Because regulated heavily by the TDLR. We actually had someone come on site at one of our jobs a couple weeks ago. Yes.
What are some of the common symptoms that people talk about? Like normally,
For mold,
yeah, when they have
sneezing, headaches, insomnia, and runny nose. That's what I talk about. A lot of times people say, "Oh, you got a runny nose." And we go in their home, like, "Oh, look at your ducks." Wonder why it's happening. Yes, sir. What's some other person?
So you don't do the testing, but how do you know when you're done? Like what?
So what happens is the mold consultant does what's called the preliminary testing. They actually come out, test it, let the person know where they have mold, where it is. They write what's called a protocol, which is our scope of work, and then at the end they do a clearance testing.
Awesome. Thank you so much.
All right.